I'm just honored to be here with you with the greatest First Lady in the country, Marty Kemp, who's just a great champion for so many things. We appreciate her so much. Also, just honored to be at the Freedom Fighters Summit. I am honored to receive the award and will continue to be a freedom fighter myself. I just want to thank Alfredo and Lane for having me and Marty tonight. We're also thankful to spend time with just some great men and women who create jobs and opportunities for hardworking Georgians all over our state. That's what Marty and I have done for almost 40 years now. So we are one of you, and we appreciate you, and I just appreciate Bernie Marcus so much. I can just remember so many conversations where I was talking to Bernie, and he was telling me what to do. But he was just such a great, passionate freedom fighter himself, and someone that I know we all love and certainly love that legacy. And I just want to thank Fred for continuing to stay in the fight from the family side of things. And I'll tell you, I think I was at, if not the first, it was one of the first Job Creators Network. I'm sure Alfredo remembers this. When I was Secretary of State, it was at the Georgia Aquarium. And I remember when JNC started, and I just can't thank you all enough for what you're doing and staying in the fight. And Brad Anderson asked me when we were sitting at the table at dinner, he's like, what drove you to get into politics? And I said, look, I was just a small business owner. I was a construction guy. People always read in my bio that I started a business with a pickup truck and a shovel. And, you know, I was just a hardworking guy. And I lived in Athens, Clark County. Both Marty and I grew up there. Clark County is the smallest county in Georgia. It's the only county that voted for Michael Dukakis for president. So y'all can imagine what we were dealing with at the local level. I'm proud to say in my re-elect, I got over 30% in Athens, Clark County. But, you know, I ran for office, state senate, the first time because I was just frustrated with the local government. I was frustrated with state government, with taxes and regulations, a lot of things that we're all frustrated with. And I didn't know what I was doing. I ran in a 56% pro-Democratic district against a Democratic incumbent that was a leftist and had beat a small business owner, you know, blue dog conservative Democrat, because the guy stayed in office too long. But anyway, I ran against him, didn't know what I was doing, somehow I beat him. And I'll tell you, the thing about bureaucracy and red tape in government, when you actually get to serve in government and you actually see it, it's worse than you actually thought it really was. And that has driven me my whole political career. And both Marty and I, as small business owners ourselves, we know very well the challenges and pressures that people face. And like you, we've seen the good and bad, and we've been through good times and tough times. And we've had nights where we sat in our kitchen on Friday night, barely paid the people working for us, couldn't pay all our suppliers, wondering if we were going to make it to the next Friday night. And you got two choices when you're in that situation. You know, you can just commiserate yourself the whole weekend and get ready to turn the keys back over to the bank on Monday morning, or you can get up on Saturday morning and go back to work and try to live to fight another day. And that's what we did. And we've had to do that more than once. And during the Obama recession in 08, 09, 2010, I felt like we were living in dog years that lasted so long for people that were in real estate and construction like us. So I knew what people were going through during COVID. And that's why when we were in the midst of that global pandemic in 2020, we followed the science. But as Jenna said, we listened to small business owners. We listened to hardworking Georgians out there. And it was my belief that all they needed was a chance to keep their doors open and to live to fight another day. I knew that we couldn't just stay in lockdown with no end in sight. So we did what we needed to do, and we gave job creators the chance that they deserved. Because I felt like the Georgians that I knew, the business people like me, the true small business people, the entrepreneurs, the people that were worried like Jenna about her employees, they were not going to sit in their basement and lose everything that they got because of the government. and we didn't allow them to do that. People may have forgotten, but we took a lot of heat from both sides when we made that decision to reopen. One reporter even wrote that we were conducting an experiment in human sacrifice. And I'm going to tell you, when you're having those things said about you night after night, it's pretty tough. But what they didn't understand or care to know was that if we have remained in lockdown for months and months like they wanted, or locked back down after we did reopen when the second wave came through, the threat to people's lives wouldn't just be from the coronavirus, it would be from the destruction of their businesses that hardworking people had literally spent decades and some people generations building, and that the workers that they depended on for their weekly or monthly checks would not be getting them. To me, that was a bridge too far. It's just unacceptable. All people like Jenna were asking for was a fair chance, not only to fight for their life, but also their livelihood. And I've been asked many times why I did what I did, and I just told them that same story over and over about being at that kitchen table on Friday night, week after week after week. And I know what that feeling's like. I've felt it many times, and I also knew that people could fight through it if they were given it a chance, and that's what we gave them. So all these years later, we're now seeing the impact and the benefit of that choice. States like ours that reopened sooner had stronger economies, they had less learning loss, and they had quicker recoveries after the pandemic, all because we listened to small businesses instead of simply dictating what they should be doing. That approach to listening to our job creators and working with them is one of the top reasons that we have been the #1 state in the country for business for 11 straight years now. We call that the Georgia way of doing business, and it's a perfect example of that is our efforts in our workforce development. We already had the top-ranked workforce development program in the nation, Georgia Quick Start. But we were not content to rest on our laurels here in the Peach State. That's why we set out to tackle the need for more workers that we knew would encounter this unprecedented growth that we're having. So 2 years ago, we rolled out Georgia Match. It's the largest direct college admissions program in the country. This initiative ensures that every student in our state knows that there is a spot being held for them at a college or technical college of their choice right here in Georgia. And we have the Hope Scholarship, so these people can go to school for tuition free. Because of these efforts over the last 2 years, our enrollment growth at our university system schools is up 6%, and our enrollment growth at our technical college schools is up 9%, helping us meet the incredible job creation that we have been seeing in our state. Last year on topic, I signed school choice legislation creating the Georgia Promise Scholarship. I want to thank Senator Albers and his colleagues for that, so that students can have the funding they need to pursue the education that best fits their need. Building on that success, this year I'll sign a Top State for Talent Act to better align our education system with the needs of businesses so students are truly ready to find success beyond the classroom. We took each of these steps after consulting with the business community, education leaders, and local officials, a testament to the pro-business environment we have at every level of our state. We're also blessed to have the top-ranked infrastructure in the nation, including our network of freight rails and highways that can access many locations, our deep water ports that open the door to markets worldwide, and one of the most efficient and busiest airports in Hartsfield, Jackson, and Atlanta. We know there's more to infrastructure than logistics, which is why I'm so proud that Units 3 and 4 at Plant Vogtle are now online, providing clean, reliable energy in the form of nuclear power for decades to come, the first 2 new reactors in over 30 years in the United States. We also maintained a strong and reliable financial position for our state with a AAA bond rating and a budget surplus. In fact, our responsible approach to budgeting has enabled us in the last 2 years alone to commit to saving or returning over $7.6 billion to our taxpayers. Also, over the last 2 years, normally the state would bond anywhere from $900 million to $1 billion for capital projects for new K-12 schools, university systems, and so on. The last 2 years, because of our economy being open after COVID, incredible revenues, and conservative budgeting, we paid cash for those projects the last 2 years. Didn't buy any bonds. That will save the state of Georgia $50 million a year for the next 20 years. That is being fiscally conservative with your budget. What that has also done is allowed us to enact the largest state income tax cut in history, a tax cut we have accelerated now twice. Just a couple of weeks ago, I signed legislation accelerating the rate step down by another 20 basis points, bringing us to 5.19%. We also, in the middle of all of that, tied the personal income tax rate to the business tax rate. So those cuts are benefiting not only individual families, but also our job creators too. I will tell you, that is good, Alfredo, for us to do that. But I will tell y'all, this is what's crazy. You know, all the Democrats in the legislature, they complain about the tax cuts all the time, but they end up voting for them on the personal side. The business tax cut, they wouldn't vote for the business tax cut because they felt like they were giving something to, millionaires and billionaires. And they didn't understand they were voting against the tax cut for small business people like you all and like me and like, millions of other Georgians in our state. And I think that's something good for us to remember as we go into the political season. We've also been able to take steps because of incredible growth that we've enjoyed. Over 193,000 new jobs and over $90 billion of investment that are coming to our state on just things that the state had a part in since I took office in 2019. Does not include all the incredible organic growth with businesses that are already in the state that are expanding and other things that are going on. And I just want to again thank the members of the General Assembly. I know our Speaker of the House, John Burns, and Ms. Dale are here with us tonight. Senator Albers, I'm sure there's some other legislators that will be here. We just appreciate y'all's partnership on all those efforts. That path to opportunity we've charted along with our neighbors in the South has outpaced the liberal tax and spend states like New York, California, and I'm throwing in there Maryland nowadays. Well, it's crazy. They get in there, that state was doing good when Larry Hogan was governor, and they get a Democratic governor after all the COVID money and everything, all the spending that was going on post-COVID. They now have a budget deficit, and they're raising taxes. So they're just like New York and California. But people continue to vote with both their wallets and their feet, choosing our pro-growth, pro-freedom approach. In fact, the South's economy has grown at a faster pace than the rest of the U.S. in recent years. With over two-thirds, this is incredible statistics, over two-thirds of job growth being in this region between 2020 and 23 nationwide. Two-thirds of the job growth happened in the South. Texas, Florida, and Georgia continue to lead the nation in population growth, while California, New York, Illinois, and Pennsylvania continue to see declines. And while we're cutting taxes and returning billions to taxpayers, California, New York, and Maryland are having to raise taxes to cover their bloated spending. But here in Georgia, we have a different vision, one that focuses on ensuring the safety and prosperity of citizens and promoting the environment where businesses and individuals alike can thrive. That approach is yielding great results, as you can see right here in Savannah. In fact, just since 2019 here in our coastal region, we've welcomed an incredible 160 economic development projects, almost 28,000 jobs, over $14 billion of investment to our coastal communities. That's the same type of historic opportunity we're working to bring to all communities in our state. So I just want to close by saying thank you to all of you for your contributions in this effort. because without our business owners, we could never accomplish what we have been able to do. So I hope you know that we have your back here in Georgia, and together we'll keep moving forward and setting a national example on how to support opportunity for all. So thank you all again. Thank you, Alfredo, and the rest of the team for the honor tonight. It has been great being with you all. God bless you. Thank you.